Hey there and welcome back to SnowRunner. Today we are going to do a little bit more work on the ore sorting center. We are here in a beautiful TwinSteer though. Look at that design, by the way. We do see a dam, we do see Zeus right over there casting his lightning bolts. Very cool design, isn't it? But yeah, off we go. Let's collect some cargo over here and go towards the ore sorting center down the road. I love this truck though. The TwinSteer though is such a good, well, truck for this particular job, by the way, now that I think about it. Of course, you don't need to have an extra trailer that is weighting you down or anything like that. So we do need 8 bricks though, so you know, there's plenty of them around here. 4 times, as you can see. And you know, like, it's only 2 halls though. So what we are going to do is follow this road down here, just the main street though, I would call it. Right around here, here, and there. Might seem easy, and it is a pretty easy road though, but there are a couple of points that you have to be a little bit more careful, especially with the TwinSteer. If you are an experienced driver though, I would recommend using the TwinSteer, to be very fair with you. You have to be a little bit more on the professional side though, right? You know, by knowing how the fixes are working, how the trucks are working and all. Because it is an entire different beast though. It is very tip heavy if you don't know what to do, or if you have a little bit of bad luck. And if you do know me, you know that I sometimes just love pushing myself to the limits though, or my trucks. And that is not always a good idea to do. Anyways, let's keep on hauling though, huh? Well, just to show you the stats what we are dealing with right now. We have an A right now at the moment. Normally it's a little bit stronger, but all of this cargo doesn't weigh it down too much though. Durability A- and fuel consumption B. It's such a good truck, really though. You cannot really go wrong with it. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful though? Look at how thick those tires are. Man, that's some good stuff right there. Well, let's go into high gear, because this TwinSteer is actually laughing at this mud right now. It has 62-inch tires of wheels, at least 60%, of 60%, 60-inch plus. I should actually check to be sure how many inches they are. I believe they were 62-inch. So, you know that, with a powerful engine. A long bed though. It's a perfect combination for hauling through mud roads. Just avoid very small off-road parts. Like, I wouldn't go to the right here though with this truck. Avoid at all costs, in other words. Alright. Auto, because right now we are on the concrete. Woo! Yeah, speed and rocks though, huh? Don't go hand to hand together. Alright, high gear again. Better a little bit slower than in automatic. But because of the torque though, it's just being consistent to all tires right now. Well, not really. It's all-wheel drive. We don't have differential lock and gates because we are not in low gear. But the torque is now a little bit more consistent though. That is what I tried to say to all of it though, in high gear. Meaning no gear up, no gear down, you know? I'm sure I could phrase that a lot better, but I know you guys know what I'm talking about though. Maybe someone can clarify it a little bit better in the comment section below. I'd appreciate it. Alright, be careful though around here and there, because, you know, if the front is okay, right, you know, on the road, the rear might just be a little bit bumpy and you might still tip. It is one solid stick. You have to see it as a plank. So, you know, the plank at the front could be just nice and even. The rear one could just hit a nice little rock and the front will just tip over too. So there is no yeah, what shall we call it? A scissor axle? You know, something like that. Why the Western Star needs to check out a mechanic though, right? You know, right behind the cabin of one of those solid turn axes right there. So the rear is loose from the front and it has something like a ball turn, you know? It won't do probably wonders though in very tough terrain. By the way, these TwinSteers, I've seen videos of them though, going through deep mud in deep forest with extreme cargo. So, you know, like, hey, you know, I'm just saying my opinion here, but I'm not a professional engineer, right? You know, so, but I think it might actually do wonders if there is some way to balance it out. Yeah, because if one side of the cargo might be a little bit too heavy, you know, on normal terrain even, it might cause issues. It might cause a lot of issues. Well, there's probably something we can do with pistons though. Probably. Man, I love this truck though. It feels like power for real. Alright, once we do deliver this, I'm going back to the garage because I really want to know though which inch tires we do have. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Look at that though, 63. And I'm using the Yacht MH S4 or actually 5 1. What am I even talking about? I'm thinking about other tires too. I can read, damn it. 63 Yacht MHS 5-1. That's Roman numerals. Now, I was thinking about a different one though that I could also try out because sometimes these are battered though, right? You know, on road, good. Off road, good. Mud, average. Now, there's some deep mud parts around here, but how many percentiles of that road was actually mud? Okay, I gave it to you. Around 30% though. That's a lot though, but certain roads, they don't have that, so keep that also in mind. And by the way, I would go for an off-road though, not all-terrain. Like this one, as an example. This one could be really, really good though. Huh. Off-road high, singles. Of course, they are all singles here. This is mud high, you know, like single. Deep mud. Okay, interesting, but we don't care about 55 inch here. And deep mud high singles. Ay. Yeah. I kind of want to try out a different one. I think I'm going for the off-road and for the ORS 2, right? Off-road high singles. I'm going to sell the other ones just in case I totally forgot about it. And I mean, that's quite a lot of money. All right, so let's see how this one goes. I have a very good feelings about these off-roads. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. I'm certain about it. Mud is really more for swampy terrains or roads that are, let's say, I would go. Well, technically, I'm going mostly mud tires. But if I had to be meta, I would go only for mud tires, though. If I would be going really for the meta build, if the road is around 50% plus mud, right? Or super rough terrain, like water on the road and stuff like that. Well, let's see. Okay, I can feel a difference already here. And I'm not even in high gear. And I'm 2 out of 4 gear right now. I do feel a difference. Alright, let's switch to high. Same speed. Same speed. This is what I mean, and we are in mud here. Same speed, boys. We're not gearing down, nothing at all. There's even a slight chance that there are parts where we can actually gear up. And then, of course, we will gear down, because that's how automatic works. Because, you know, slide... Oh, you know, the RPM is not high enough for the third gear. Let's go back all the way to the first one. That's how it works, sadly. This is just wow. OIS 2, boys. Go for it. Go for it. If you struggle with the tipping, go for a smaller version. Get rid of the race suspension. Go for the 55 inch. We are talking about 55 inch tires though. I don't think any of us can go wrong with 55 inch tires in the TwinSteer. Practice on that. Become the master of the house. And go to 63 inch. Alright, give me more. Now let's see, what else do we have here? Sadly, we have 0 of these. We have small pipes, what we don't need. We have fuel. Unlimited, which is very nice though, because we do need 8 times 2. And then we have cement, what we don't need right now, because we have enough at the factory. Metal beams, only 1 left though. Which is actually pretty decent, because we have 1 on the road, right? And consumables we don't need. Alright, there's a lot of beautiful stuff at this warehouse though, huh? Smart man is working here. A smart manager and a supplier. Very, very good though. You have the foresight to succeed here in a business in the desperate north, where we cannot just be too picky, right? And neither can we wait too much. We do need to have things right now, after all, to keep the economy going and flowing. People gotta eat and pay their bills too, right? Even if you're living up north or in other desolated areas. Man, what a beast though, I'm telling you. Okay, let's see how it goes uphill. It still has the traction for 2 out of 4 gears right now, going uphill with all of this. OHS2. Alright, 0HS2. Off-road. Race suspension 63 inch. That's what I'm rocking here. If you try it out, or if you have experience already, let me know, alright? Let me know. If you learned something, give the video a like. And if you're still watching, by the way, I know you like the video. Let me know by subscribing, alright? You will do me so good though, right? You will do me so good. I'd be very happy with that. But it's so useful, all this information, man. I love it. Oh, look at that though. The speed indicator is actually miles and kilometer per hour. Oh, inclusive of them, right? Very nice. Oh yeah, the mud is getting deeper though. And that happens with this map. Is where the more often you take a route, the deeper and more difficult the terrain is getting. Very realistic. We don't have a dry season where this actually, fixes it up a little bit. It's an issue though. And we don't have a roller where we can actually, compound the mud a little bit. But by the way, a roller will just go right through. But, it could help out a little bit. Wouldn't advise to try it in real life unless you want to have a very good video though, where you're going to rescue a roller from the mud. But anyhow, there's no road repairs around here, so let's be a little bit conservative too. Yeah, before we make just an Abaddon, an endless pit, an abyss to the underworld right over there. Look at that anchor over there on the shore. Kind of looks like it's abandoned though, but it's just parked there. Alright, mud is not flying anymore. Fantastic. Going to be a late haul. The company is still open though. Yeah, it's not a one-way work 24/7. Not enough workers around here in this region for that. Alright, slow her down. Low gear instead of high plus, or low plus, high gear. Not high plus. Oh, the lights are still on. That's a very good sign. Three, two, one. Back into auto gear. Maybe a little bit too early though, but it's moving on. All right. All bricks are delivered. Let's sleep over here. Wake up around the middle of the day though, right? You know, we have to relax a little bit too. And then we are going to get the concrete slabs. And I would say probably some fuel. That will be good too. Well, we woke up rather early, by the way. So let's make some concrete slabs. Ooh, we do need more cement for that though. Well, you know what? Let's haul some cement over here. Yeah. And this is going to be a very interesting turn. Lots of planks and beams around here. Okay. Less interesting than I thought it will be. Man, that yellow is shiny though, isn't it? Not sure if they did paint it with some legal paint though. Maybe there's lots of lead in there. By the way, be careful for baby products that you're ever going to buy that, right? You know, like baby toys. If it's made in China, there's a big chance there's lead involved. Because, you know, it makes that very bright paint color stuff. There was a scandal about that a while ago. A long while ago, though. But, you know, here and there, it just slips through the cracks. You know how it goes. So be careful about that. Especially with baby toys, though, right? Because they do put that in their mouth. If it's just a little bit of a dull coloring, don't worry about it, alright, you know? Don't worry about it then. It's really, really bright. You can Google it, though. Do yourself a favor and your child, if you have one, that is. If you get one, don't forget this. Alright, promise me. Oh, by the way, this goes for any, you know, like any country that has less strict regulations than the EU. North and South America, you know? So I'm not hating here though, right? You know, this is advice for any country, for any father or mother. Well, it's the sausage party on my channel, so you know, 100% man audience, male audience. But it's just to make you aware, because regulations are not strict everywhere. And if it's not strict, you know, if there's money involved, right? You know what happens then. There's only one thing that you always have to be careful of though, and that is where there's money, there is evil. There you go. But there can also be a lot of ignorance though. I'm not saying that any of that is on purpose, because a lot of stuff is just pure ignorance. And yeah, a lot of us do hate regulations though. It depends on what branch you're working in and all, but it's so important that we have good regulations. Man, it's a smoker though, huh? All of this with the fog of the countryside. Whew. Beautiful combination, by the way, but barely see anything ahead of TwinSteer at times. Well, we have seen this road, so let's just do it once again though. Let's enjoy the ride together. Yeah. We did steer a little bit too quick to the left there. Not the best thing in the world. Let's go. Oh. You know what? I could go like a little bit more like this. Yeah, just hauling ourselves over it. Oh, no. Hoo-wee. Yeah, we gotta be a little bit more careful of that little rock though. There's a small rock there in front of the bigger rock. Alright? So be aware of that. Normally I avoided it like the plague, but apparently I couldn't do it this time. The water is getting deeper and more troublesome though. Getting deeper and more troublesome. Well, we are approaching probably the end of this part of the map too. There's probably one or two more after this task though, right? You know? So that's the only good thing. I just feel a little bit bad for the local workers and all. Now look at that. Booyah! Look at that though, huh? Very well done. Alrighty though, huh? This was a nice little haul, I have to say. In total we did 3 full hauls though. And technically with a normal truck it would have been 6 if you did not use a trailer, right? So that's really awesome. And by that I also want to thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful time. And I will see you guys once we are going to do the different ones. Because that's quite a doozy though. We do need to get 3 metal beams. Turn that into 6 metal rolls. Then we have to get some fuel and all of that stuff though. Maybe we are lucky, by the way. Maybe there's enough metal rolls in one of the warehouses. But we will have to see. See you guys in the next one. Stay happy, stay healthy, and don't forget to subscribe though. Bye bye.